Joining me for a preview, ABC News senior investigative reporter Aaron Kantersky, and also contributor and retired NYPD chief of detectives Robert Boyce. Aaron, let's start with you. The CEO of Smith & Wesson was invited, but will not be appearing today. Do we know why?
No, in fact, here the committee said that the CEO of Smith & Wesson did not give a good reason for declining to appear, and the committee chairwoman Carolyn Maloney told us that she's going to deal with it, which sounds kind of like maybe they'll subpoena the executive. We'll see. But all of the executives that are appearing, and even of the ones that don't, they were all asked for information about their profits and their marketing, because some on the committee believe that these companies are marketing assault-style rifles that are being used in some of the deadliest mass shootings in the company, and they're tripling their profits over the last couple of years, and they're marketing these weapons in a way that the committee will say is meant to entice young men, the very kinds of young men that have carried out shootings, say, in Uvalde, in Buffalo, and in Highland Park, Illinois.
All right, I want to talk more about that marketing in just a second, dive a little deeper on that, Aaron. But I want to bring in our senior producer there up on the Hill, Trish Turner. It's been a busy morning for you, Trish. I'm glad you could join in on the conversation. Trish, can you just tell us what evidence right now that the committee is expected to present as they question these gun manufacturers?
So, Kira, the head of this committee, the chairwoman, has requested records when she opened this investigation back in May after the shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde. So she's looking for the marketing records, the profits. She's looking wide across this industry, and she says, or she's going to report, that this industry has, over the past decade, made more than $1 billion in profits from sales, like the weapons that Aaron was just talking about, these assault-style weapons. And she is going to go into that marketing strategy at these companies for the records that she has so far. We do know that one of the heads of these major gun manufacturers is not going to appear, Mark Smith of Smith & Wesson. We are told by the committee he agreed at first to testify, but then he pulled back. So we're going to see what happened there. But for the records she does have, she is going to say, like Aaron said, show that a marketing strategy was truly targeting in on these young men. We'll see what the evidence shows. And then also that there appears to be a nexus to white supremacy. That's also something that's been on the rise in this country. So again, there's a lot here for, the chairwoman to prove through evidence as she unveils it at this hearing. But earlier today, she was talking about ads that really, look at these young men and say, if you buy this type of weapon, it'll increase your manhood. Get your manhood back, is how she described one ad. And so she wants to see how the money is washing around this industry, going to the lobbying arm, the National Rifle Association, and how that flows back in through Congress. So a lot to be gleaned here, but that's the general sense of what should happen.
And let's just follow up on that, Aaron, and talk about Daniel Defense. I mean, this is the maker of the rifle that the gunman used to kill 19 children and 2 adults at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. They've actually been accused of targeting at-risk young men. Are we going to hear from them? And maybe you can delve into how exactly they've done that targeting. They've been very creative with military-style advertising, among other types of tactics.
And some advertising that we expect the committee to say uses symbols, as Trish suggested, that allude to, if not outright borrow from, symbols that have been associated with white supremacist or other extremist-type groups. And whether that is a deliberate strategy, whether that's accidental, we'll see what the executive has to say. But that's one area that the committee is really trying to delve into, this idea that these guns are not only marketed to young men, but they're also marketed to people that may be prone to having some of these extremist beliefs.
All right, so Bob, this is where I want to bring you in, because you are the NYPD cop. You're the guy that was in charge of the detectives. As this committee tries to prove that gun manufacturers are responsible for gun violence, this epidemic in our country, is that a fair argument to make? And can they prove that? And do you think the way they market their weapons influences at-risk men, which in turn causes us to have to endure these mass shootings?
So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to say they're part of the problem. There's no question. They're going to argue that they're not the person who says who gets the guns or not. That's the federal firearms licensee dealer. He does the NICS checks, and he's the one, or she's the one who puts that into a system, the database. And we have no method to define mental illness. They ask you two questions, basically on the NICS check. Have you been arrested for a felony and convicted of a felony? And are you buying this gun for yourself or others? That's it. They don't do nothing on mental illness to check this out. That's what these gentlemen are going to argue today, is they're making guns. They're part of the system. Sure they are, but they're not the ones who are putting it in their hands. That's what they're going to argue today. And it's a fair point. We have failures in the system. We have to identify them.
All right. And so, Trish, can Congress do anything that would actually hold companies accountable then for the gun violence that we see, and even for the reasons Bob says there's a problem here with how they market and how they check who buys those guns?
Right. One of the other things that this chairwoman is going to get at as well, we expect her to talk to these companies about how we have investigations into how drugs might have, caused a death, or how a car involves a death. She wants this industry to start looking at these crimes where the weapons, their manufactured weapons, are used in these crimes, and try to determine what can be done, sort of similar to a car crash. And things of this nature. I have to say, though, Kira, and you know this, as well as I, the bar is very high for getting any sort of legislation involving the Second Amendment. We're also getting, very close to midterm season here. The balance of power in both chambers very much up for grabs, likely to overturn to Republicans in the House. So no one is getting near this issue. They might bring it up. There is momentum because of all of these, this cascading a series of shootings across the country. So there is some momentum to do something, but I will say we just saw a really slimmed down package pass both chambers, signed by the president in June. And so I would tell you, just in talking to a number of Senate Republicans, even moderate Senate Republicans, the will is just not there.
Yeah, key words, slimmed down. All right, Trish Turner, Aaron Katursky, Bob Boyce, thank you all so much. We will talk throughout the morning.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.